Again, not facts, but facts about what people believe. Is it a fact that is people believe this shit? This just one is so wild. So because of the nature of this one, and I'll give a little bit of a trigger warning, this is about children and death. So if this is gonna be weird for you, turn it off at this point. Sorry. At least it's towards the end of the show. I saved it for that purpose. Now, if you're gonna stay and listen,
Mhm.
you heard me mention baby eating.
Ugh.
It was very difficult for me to find a news article that went through this in detail. So I have pieces of what I could find because Reddit has tried to scrub this from the internet because people really believe this.
As they
So
should.
satanic, cannibalism, particularly with infants. Now, what is satanic? It's something evil, wicked, or directly believing in the devil, right? Um, Actually, some Satanists believes that they just reject God, but in this case, I'm just going to guess that they go all the way here. And cannibalism is when you are consuming another human being basically as food. Um, Animals do this. Animals have been cannibals, but humans are not. They've, advised against that for us. But where is cannibalism still practiced in the world? It's actually still practiced in Liberia and
Is it
in
really?
it says in Democratic Republic of Congo
Oh man.
during some wars, and then in Papua New Guinea it was still practiced in 2012 for cultural reasons with their Melanesian tribes. It is consumption of another human's body, whether it's consensual or not.
Ugh.
In the U.S., there are no laws against it per se, but most states have enacted laws that indirectly make it impossible to legally obtain and consume a person's body. It's
Yo, if
actually
if a cannibal from like Papua New Guinea came to America, they'd be like, "There's so much meat on these
I was
people."
just I knew you were going there. You fucking
Wow,
asshole.
it's like you going to like some porn convention. Like, fuck, this is amazing. Look at that one. That guy's so big. He's got a scooter.
Eddie, we are going to hell. You're going right where the fuck they're at. It's gonna be limbo. Okay. Okay. All right. So the most famous cannibal was Jeffrey Dahmer. I believe we talked about him a little bit with
Mhm,
serial
mhm,
killers.
mhm.
But what is this baby eating shit?
Mm.
Well, there is another version of Pizzagate where people believe that the reason they couldn't find any children in the
Mm.
pedophile ring is that
Okay.
because they had been eaten
Uh,
already, and that these kids and or babies were part of a satanic ritual to take over the planet. Now, the lizard people we mentioned on a conspiracy theory episode with like Justin Bieber changing his skin and stuff like that is a big QAnon thing, and it's their secondary to pedophilia thing, right? There is a very large movement with QAnon called Save the Children,
yes.
and they do a lot of protests and stuff like that trying to save kids, and they basically exploit the fears and the vulnerability of children, and they latch onto that in efforts to basically fight child abuse, but also have people believe their bullshit. So it's interesting because they kind of weaponize kids in
Mm.
a way, because obviously we all would be up for this, right? Like this is a very and this is a quote unquote Black Lives Matter cause, in my opinion. I believe it makes no fucking sense that anyone could be against the idea of Black people mattering.
Right.
Much like child abuse, who wouldn't latch onto this, right? You'd be insane not to.
You're
But
nailing it. You're nailing it. You're
right,
flicking my tits right where it feels good.
because
Sorry.
because that's what it is. It's like you're getting me. How could you not? So, wow, you don't want to stop child abuse? Like, that's
Exactly.
really what's going on here. Now, so in 2020, August 22nd, people had a Save the Children rally outside of the Capitol. Um, and hundreds of rallies were going on around the country meant to stop pedophilia, stop human trafficking. And what ended up happening was people that joined these groups had
Hmm.
no fucking idea that they were now a part of the QAnon conspiracy. Because once
Ah.
they met with their own people, right, they're like, hey, we all don't want kids to be whatever, abused. They found out then that there were huge theories against it. So here's just some of the things that they believe. For one, political components unleash vengeance against them when you believe that they consort with demons and drink the blood of children for amusement. However, this is something that is high on the QAnon list for the Democrats, i.e., the baby eating Hillary Clinton thing. So
Hmm.
basically, there is a thing said that they monitor veins for signs that they are pulsing with adrenochrome extracted from the pituitary glands of tortured children. And when you consume it, you elevate high up the political.
This is insane. Isn't as you're reading this, you're just like, what the
I
fuck?
can't stop laughing because it's so fucking wild, bro. Like, what? Like, dude, reading it is insane. But yeah, they basically, in a nutshell, have used the Save the Children rallies to gather people together to help them expose this theory. And it is also part of their great awakening plan because the more people that latch on, the more they'll tell everybody, the more we can expose the baby eating fucking Democrats.
So you nailed it right on the head. The way these people get radicalized is you take an ideal that you who would not be on board with saving children, everybody, especially people that have had children, like people that are in their 40s and 50s and stuff like that. So
Mm.
you attach your QAnon has that whole thing where like there's a huge child trafficking thing and we're going to stop it. And if you're some naive person in the middle of nowhere or wherever you are, and you're on your computer on Reddit, and you're just like, "Yeah, we got to save these fucking kids," and you get out and you get radicalized. The irony is like,
Yo, Eddie's
eh,
face, you guys. He looked at me with all sincerity. We've got to save
save
these
these kids.
fucking kids, man.
And then someone's like, "Oh, cool, like the ones at the border that are being locked up in cages," and like, no, I mean like white kids. I'm like, oh, okay, cool,
No,
got it.
our brothers and sisters,
Yeah,
not
not like illegal kids, but like legal
yeah, ba,
kids.
ba, ba, ba. A
That's
good
what
kind.
these QAnon people are literally like so selective and they're saving which children. Like it's insane.